Yeah.
Okay, we're learning the Sikha in Chelik Zayin, Parshas B'chukei Sai. Sikha. It's on page 188. We're in Sif Beis, page 189. Okay, we started last week. The Rebbe brings the Machlekes and Teres Kainim between Rabbi Yehuda and Rabbi Shimon regarding the translation of V'ishbati Chaya Ro Min Ha'aretz. What does V'ishbati mean? Rabbi Yehuda says, Maviron Min Ha'olam. That Lasad Lavoi, all the Chayis Rois, the wild beasts, will be completely eradicated from the world. Rabbi Shimon, on the other hand, says, Mashbisun Shelo Yizayko, that the Eibush is going to take away, change their nature, that they're not going to cause any harm. Then we also learned in the Ha'ara, in the Shuli Agilian, the Rebbe brings the Ramban that says a third interpretation, that the diuk in the pasuk is Oretz, that the Eibush will remove the wild beasts from Eretz Yisrael. And it's not even going to be B'derech Nes B'chlal. Both according to Rabbi Shimon and according to Rabbi Yehuda, there's a nes here. Either that they'll all be eradicated or that their nature will completely change. According to the Ramban, and the Rebbe says possibly the Rambam as well, there's no Shinei Teva B'chlal. Elamai, the population of Yidden in Eretz Yisrael is going to be from border to border, that there'll be no place for Chayis Rois. Chayis Rois don't come to a place where you have population of human beings. So so the Nevuah is another way of saying that the Yidden are going to be covering the whole Eretz Yisrael from border to border. That's the third pshat. Okay, the Rebbe asked a few questions on these Perushim here. Let's continue in Sif Beis. The Rebbe points out, where is the source of this machlekes regarding the translation of the word V'ishbati? Sif Beis. Der Tam von Rabbi Yehuda, was lernt as V'ishbati Chayra meint Maviran Min Ha'olam. Why does Rabbi Yehuda translate the word V'ishbati to mean literally that the Eibush removes all chayas from the world? Is Mevai the Rogachov. In other words, the word V'ishbati apparently is not such a clear word. The word V'ishbati, it doesn't say V'hevarti. V'ishbati could be explained in a few ways. As we'll see right here, the Rebbe brings as an example by Chometz. Is Mevai the Rogachover, as Rabbi Yehuda geht l'shitase in dem din from Bia Chometz. He's following his opinion by Chometz.
The Targum says on this word,
V'ishbati?
yeah, he says mevatel, bittel.
Uses the term bittul in Aramaic, which
Yeah.
is batalas or
No,
something
but I
like
could
that.
see how it fits into the English of Chometz.
All right? Yeah. Same thing by Chometz. So there also, there's the mitzvah of tashbisu. Right? The same term that Teddy uses. So what does tashbisu mean? The way one has to get rid of Chometz is Farana Machlekes from Rabbi Yehuda mit Chachamim. Rabbi Yehuda oimer ein bir Chometz elas reifa. The only way to get rid of the Chometz is when you burn it. The Chachamim oimrim af mefarer v'zayre l'ruach. You can crumb it and then throw it up to the wind. By matel yam, or throw it into the yam. So the fact that it's broken apart, then it goes into the ear or into the yam, and then it doesn't resemble anymore its original existence. That's enough. That's a hashbasa. You've destroyed it. So what's the basis of their argument? So now, so here, basically the way the Rogachover explains this, everybody agrees what the word tashbisu means. Tashbisu means to destroy. But the extent of the destruction is what their argument is about. That's what it seems like the Rebbe is going to explain it. They're not really arguing in the mashmos, how you translate the word. The translation of the word means a destruction. But it's still not clear what level of destruction does this mean. So b'shas mevarv darayin dem chometz in yam, if you throw it into the water, on a filavem is mzeire l'ruach, even when you throw it into the wind, vet blois bottle der chibur von seine chalakim v'cholo. So the way it's held together as a piece of bread, so that is what's being broken apart. That's what's destroyed. Aber es bleibt the mitzias hachametz k'mei shahaya. But the existence of the chametz remains in the world as it was before. Now, the term that Torah uses is tashbisu, which means to destroy. Halt Rabbi Yehuda. So therefore, Rabbi Yehuda's opinion is, as durich zebrekeln dem chametz, when you're just going to crumb it, and verspreiten in wind, and then you spread it out in the wind, oder durich harayim waffen in yam, and you throw it into the water, is minit mekayim the tashbisu. So you haven't fulfilled destroying the chametz. V'aloit Rabbi Yehuda is the pirish from shvise. What is the meaning of the word shvise? Bittel hametzius. The word shvisa means to destroy its existence altogether. So when the term destruction here means fully, to fully destroy it, that it's non-existent. That's the term shvisa. So therefore, he says the only way to accomplish that is if you burn the chametz. Only when you burn it, then its existence is completely gone. Now, the Rebbe adds here, even though after you burn, you still have something that's left. Yeah, the ashes of it, right? What's left is ashes. Ashes, in comparison to the way it existed before when it was a composite. You know, as the Rambam says that everything, the Rambam speaks about Santanya as well, everything is made up of Eish, Ruach, Mayim, and Ofar. And when you combine it together with everything in the world has a different mezige, how exactly those four elements are combined together, how much moisture it has, how much heat, how much wind, and so on. So when it's all brought together, that makes up the existence of what it is. But then fire changes it completely. Fire takes away all the elements of its existence, and all that's left is the Efer, which is the Yisai, the offer of it. The Friedige Metzius is Nita. The previous existence is not here anymore. This is also Negei La'alacha, that was Mitzayin in the Maram Mekayim, is going to get to something that's also Ba'ano. When something is also Ba'ano, and then you burn it, the ashes of it is a new existence. So that Isra No that applies to what it was before doesn't apply to the ashes afterwards. If it turns into mamish, into a charcoal, into a coal, it's not the same entity it was before. You could have a no from it. So that shows that this is what's called complete bittul b'mitzias. What was there before is totally gone. That's Rabbi Yehuda's opinion. So he translates tashbisu to be literal, complete destruction. The Chachamim ubechlalam Rab Shimon halten. However, the Chachamim and part of them is also Rab Shimon. So their opinion is aber as oich der bittul hatzura v'ha'eichus. Even when you nullify the form or the quality of it, and here the Rebbe clarifies in breiten Sinn von Sura v'eichus. We're using this in the very broad sense, the form and the quality of it, which means koilul oich the efsharius von achile v'ano b'chlal. When you have a piece of bread, and it's a piece of bread sitting on the table, so it's in a form and it has quality that you're able to eat it, you're able to have a benefit from it, right? Which is, now why is that relevant over here for the Isser of Chametz? The fact that it has that form, that you could have a use of it, or you can eat it. The Geder from Yirah L'cha, because that relates to the Isser of Yirah L'cha. The Isser of not having Chametz is only if you own it. If you have Chametz in your property and you don't have any ownership over it, so then there's no Isser of Chametz. So we see that the Torah doesn't want you to have a shaychus to the Chametz. The fact that there's Chametz in your property, the existence of the Chametz is not the Isser. The Isser over here is the fact that it's your Chametz. So if so, when it comes to the mitzvah saseh of tashbisu, which is in order to get rid of the loisese, right? So hayais, the whole loisese is that you shouldn't have the chametz. So as long as you destroy that element of the chametz, that you can't eat it anymore and you can't have any benefit of it anymore, even though it completely exists in the world. But it's flying around as little pieces in the wind that it exists, but not for you. So then it's enough. Therefore, this is the fulfillment of the shvisa, of the destruction, of getting rid of the chametz. Okay, so over here, as you see, I mean, the Rebbe is saying that in this context, the taich of the tashbisu, it means destruction, but it's a different level of destruction, though. Very interesting. I mean, here the Rebbe is relating it to the isser of la yirah l'cha. This itself is also a discussion in Mefarshim whether the mitzvah saseh of tashbisu is ki'ilu a lav and nitik la'aseh. Is the Torah gave a lav, you should not have chametz as yours in your possession, and then the Torah says, and if you do, here's the mitzvah saseh that should be done in order to get rid of that. So the Rebbe is saying that the mitzvah saseh of tashbisu relates to the lav of lo yirah l'cha. Based on the isser, that's the quality and that's the extent of the requirement of the mitzvah saseh. Mashenkin, according to Rabbi Yehuda, the tashbisu goes much further than the lo yirah l'cha. Even if you would throw it up into the wind and you can't have any anor from it anymore, l'chayre got rid of the l'cha. It's not you have no way of possessing any ownership of it anymore. But Rabbi Yehuda holds no, tashbisu still means kipshutai, that you should destroy it.
They're basing it on l'cha, or they're basing it on what the Tashbisu has in the
The touch of Tashbisu. The touch of the word Tashbisu. Yeah, over here you're correct. You don't have that connection. And Chanami. So I mean, look, the way the Rebbe is putting it, it's based on the two Ifanim how to translate the word Tashbisu. But still, the Rebbe is explaining that over there, the Chachamim, which includes Rab Shimon, translate Tashbisu in this manner because it's related to Lacha. So again, that angerufen Shvise, so just by getting rid of the ability to have anah from it or to eat it, so that's the destruction. Und der Fahr halten sie, als euch durch mefarer, v'zeir l'ruach, and matel yam, when you throw it up in the wind or you throw it into the water, is memekayim mitzvah tashbisu. You fulfill the mitzvah aseh of tashbisu, the destruction of the chametz. That's machlokes by chametz, the two extents of how far the tashbisu goes. Das sagt der Rogachover is euch der Tama plukte von Rabbi Yehuda Rab Shimon in dem Pirish v'ishbati chayram in Aretz. Similar here, they also argue Rabbi Yehuda and Rab Shimon how you translate the word v'ishbati when it comes to the nevuah or the bracha of v'ishbati chayram in Aretz. Be'eis a chayra hert oiv zu masik sein. When a chayra exists, but its nature changes, that it does not harm anymore. Verten is batel blazir tzura. So that's nullifying its function or its the way its nature that it will harm. Aber im Metzias verbleibt wie früher. The existence of the Chaya is here as before. The Rebbe clarifies this. Even if the case was that these wild beasts, from the moment they were created in the Sheish Yisimei Bereishis, it was part of their nature to harm. Even if that was the case, what euch gewinnt verstandig, it's also understood, was der Bittel von der Dosike Teva, heißt bloß Bittel Atzura. Removing that aspect of their existence, the nature to harm, is not completely eradicating the existence of the animal, but it's a certain aspect of their existence. True, it's inherent in their nature, because they're created with this right in the beginning from creation. So you're really changing them to a very big extent. But nevertheless, it's not getting rid of the animal completely. It's just taking away that specific nature of theirs. Alachas kama v'kama, even more so, this is true in our case here regarding the wild beasts, as b'sheish may bereishis, because when they were created in the beginning, haben die Chayes nicht Masse gewinnt. They didn't have this nature to cause any harm. Und die Teva lahazik ist in sie zugekommen erst, la'achrei chetei tzadas. It's an added nature to them that began after chetei tzadas. The source of this is here, the Ramban, right over here on this pasuk V'shbati Chayra. The Ramban over here says that this concept of V'shbati Chayra that Rebbe brought before in the Ha'ara, as I mentioned, the Pshat of the Ramban that it refers to Eretz Yisrael, that there won't be any Chayis Rois in Eretz Yisrael. But the Ramban, before, right? It was the Ramban. Here the Rebbe is bringing another Pshat. The Ramban says that V'shbati Chayra is not Hepech HaTeva. Adarabah, when Mashiach comes, the true Teva of the Chayis Rois will be revealed. They'll go back to who they were originally. Just like the world, B'chlal, will go back to the way it was before Chetei Tzadas. The Chayis Rois will also go back to their true nature, which is to be beneficial in this world. Just like the Nachash turned into a different creation in this world after Chetei Tzadas, the same with all animals. Is the Chavade, if that's the case, so definitely verstandig, as Od Di Teva is blois that Surah Chitzainis. The nature of these animals, not only is it only one feature of its nature, which is inherent to its existence, but it's not. It's an added feature that comes as a result of an external thing. Of Chetei Tzadas. Und durch ein Bittel, von der Dosike Teva, by nullifying this nature, wird nicht das Battle, the Metzias von der Chaya. This does not nullify the existence of the animal, of the wild beasts when Mashiach comes. Okay, so this is the opinion of Rab Shimon, that this all refers to taking away, getting rid of the tzura. When you just like by chametz, you get rid of the tzura of it, the usage of it, and so on. Here, by the chayra, it's the same thing. Let's just see an interesting order here, order 10. The Rebbe brings the source for this concept here from what the Alter Rebbe says in Tanya, Sharichet V'Amunah Perik Beis. Order 10. There, the Alter Rebbe talks about the fact that Eibusha creates the world yesh ma'ayin, and that creation has to be constant. Why? Because it's something that Eibusha is doing hepech hateva. It's at the teva of the truth of the Eibusha. There's no room for a creation b'chlal. And the fact that there's a creation of a yesh is a chiddush, it's a eschatshus, which is hepech, what reality really is, and therefore that has to be constantly created again. And Alter Rebbe there brings the example from Kriyas Yamsov that the change of the teva of the mayim also requires a constant koyach to sustain this koyach, this change in the nature of the water, that it should not be flowing, but it should be solid. And Alter Rebbe adds, af shahateva ze b'mayim gam kein nivra m'chudesh yesh mayim. This nature of water, which is the nature of the flowing of the water, is also a creation for itself. That's what the Alter Rebbe adds there. So it's not so clear what the Alter Rebbe means to say by that line. What exactly is the difference between the yesh ma'ayin of creation that requires a constant recreating, and the yesh ma'ayin regarding the water that also requires a constantness? And then the Alter Rebbe adds, although this nature is m'chudesh and yesh ma'ayin. What does the Alter Rebbe mean by that? So the Rebbe teaches shekavanasei bepashtus. The simple pshat of what the Alter Rebbe says, although this is mitzayin on the bottom, there's a different pshat. Pelacharimer from Rabbi Oster, there's a different pshat. But the simple pshat of what the Alter Rebbe is saying here is that v'nigrim b'moedet kedarkim v'tivam. He's referring to the flowing nature of water, meaning the Alter Rebbe is saying you take water, you have to divide water into two. There is the very substance of the water itself, whether it's flowing or whether it's solid, the existence of water. And then there's the flowing nature of water. That's another aspect of the water. That's not the etzem existence of the water. It's a certain aspect of the water. So now, this Alter Rebbe is saying, regarding this aspect of the water, what does this mean? When the Eibusher creates water, so it's not intrinsic to the existence of water that it flows. The Eibusher creates water, that's one aspect of its creation. Then there's another aspect of its creation, which is the flowing aspect of it. It's another aspect of Bria Yesh Mayim. And they're not totally zebezeh. Water could be without this tzura of flowing, and water could be with the tzura of flowing. Just like, for example, we understand if you look at colors, if something has a certain color, if the color of the leaves of a tree are green, who said it had to be green? Maybe it could have been pink. There's leaves, that's one aspect of its mitzias. And then there's the color of it, the fact that it's green. The same thing with water. The way we look at it today is we think that the water has to flow. That's what water is. Water is a flowing substance, but it's not. There's the mitzias of water, and then there's another thing that Eibusher creates within this water, the yeshma, also yeshmayin, which is the flowing aspect of it. It's a tzura in the water. It's a briya neisefes. Shelechein nitzad etzem muhus hamayim. As far as the very essence of what water is, eine mushlil sheyiyah nitzaven kachayma. It's not out of the question that it should be solid. Because the flowing nature of water, it's an additional feature that the Eibusher creates in the water. So what's the point of the Alter Rebbe? It's not as great as the one of Yesh Mayim. In the case of Kriyas Yamsov, the fact that water changes from being flowing to solid is not mamish a stira, a chiddush against the very essence of what water is. It's only a certain aspect of the water that's being changed over here. It's not going against the core of the essence of what water is. And still that requires the Eibusher creating at every single moment. How much more so regarding creation of the world, yesh ma'ayin, which the essence of its existence is going against the reality of the truth of the Eibusher before creation. The whole concept that there should be another existence is it's a heschatshus. It's hepech, the reality of a lakos. So therefore, it's much more that proves that Eibusher has to create every moment yesh ma'ayin. So what's the Rebbe bringing here from this Indian? So here you see that when you have by the water, there's the solid or the liquid aspect of it, the flowing aspect. It's two parts of the existence of the water. So the same thing regarding the animals, that even if they're created from the beginning in Sheshish Mebreshis with the teva of being chayis rois, but it's not intrinsic to its nature. So the Eibusher being mevatel, the harming aspect of its nature, is an additional feature of its existence. It's only the tzura of the way it behaves, but it's not intrinsic. It's not the etzem etzias of the animal itself. This is Rab Shimon. Okay, let's go back into the Sikha, finish the Indian here. Is Rabbi Yehuda, but on the other hand, Rabbi Yehuda was lernt as Shvisa meint the bittul from the Metzias. That the term Shvisa, regarding chametz means to nullify, to destroy completely. Its existence is muzhalten as v'hishbati chayra goyme meint mavira min ha'olam. So by over here, v'hishbati chayra also means that you completely destroy it, remove it from the world. Okay, so, aber Rab Shimon was ledaita ken oich the bittel atzura heisen shvisa. According to Rab Shimon, that you see that even nullifying just its function or its form, that's also considered to be shvisa, as we see by chametz. Because that itself is also considered to be vishbati. Okay, so if you medayik what the Rebbe is saying, the Rebbe is not mamish comparing what it says by chametz to what it says here b'negei to vishbati chayira. It's not exactly the same thing, because like I mentioned before, because over there you have the lo yira l'cha. They're really arguing whether the vishbati is a response to the v'lo yira l'cha, or it's more than the v'lo yira l'cha. That's what it's connected to. But nevertheless, according to Rab Shimon, hayais over there, the tashbisu only means to get rid of the form of it. So we don't have a source to say that v'hishbati would mean more than that. It's not that it's mukhrich to say that what it means there, it means here. It's just that we don't have a source to say that v'hishbati means more. If over there it means just the form, so here it could also mean the form. According to Rabbi Yehuda, though, even though it would be logical to say that tashbisu is only a response to the lo yira halacha, but Rabbi Yehuda goes ahead and says that tashbisu is more than just a response to lo yira halacha. Why? Why is he saying that? The point of tashbisu is a mitzvah saseh to get rid of lo yira halacha. So why did he say that it's more? Mozayin that Rabbi Yehuda held that the taich of tashbisu means completely, to destroy completely. So if it's muchach to say though by chametz that it's more than lo yira halacha, so here also by tashbisu or by the hishbati, it also means kapshuta. It means to get rid of kapshuta. Huh? No. Okay, but I'm just saying it's not. The Rebbe is not just simply saying that. Just like there's a machlokes, the extent of the tzura of the or the thing itself. Over here also, sof over there, it is based on the lo yira halacha. But from this comes out that it's also machlokes whether you have a mocker to say vishbati means the etzem mitzias or not.
The way the Ishpat is also used in relation to Shabbos.
Oh, it's coming.
Of
Sorry.
this